My outlook on sport is very simple. I sacrifice my whole life, and when I'm in training camps for 8-10 weeks, I don't even drink a can of pop. I won't even have a Diet Coke or nothing. It's just eat, sleep, training. And I won't go out, I won't stay out late, I'll go to bed every night, 8-9 o'clock. I'll wake up early, I'll do exactly what the nutritionist tells me to do, and I won't break anything. There's not one thing more I could sacrifice while I'm in a training camp. I don't tell myself it, but because I automatically know that I've not cut any corners. Yeah. And I know, right, that if I go into a big fight, one of these guys, and he beats me, then obviously I'm not good enough. Because I know that I put in that much work, and I've sparred the best, and I've done everything that I possibly can. So if I lose to a better man on the night, I'll shake his hand and say, fair play, pal, you're a good fighter. But they don't have that attitude because they want to make excuses why they lost, or this was wrong, that was wrong, I've hurt my foot, I've hurt my leg, I've had a bad training camp. And they can't face reality of what's happened. I had 3 years out of the ring. I was on drugs and alcohol every day. I was fat as f***. I was 28 stone, yeah? And I come back and in 6 months I fought Deontay Wilder. And at the time he was the most feared knockout artist in the history of our sport. And I said, right, the fat bald man will fight you, because all the rest of them won't, because you keep going back and forward, this, that and the other. A side, B side, money, this, that and the other. I said, I'll fight. All of a sudden I've gone in there and absolutely battered him. And everyone's like, oh, well, is that what it was all about? They don't want to fight prime. Like Joshua's fought not one heavyweight in his prime. Like he fought Klitschko at 42 years old, Pulev 40 odd, Povetkin 40 odd. They're all like former good men back in the early 2000s, late 2000s, but not in 2020 odd. They were good men 10 years ago. I've been boxing all my life and I'd never heard of this knockout powerweight touches you and you fall over. And I wasn't convinced about the power of the Alabama Slammer, the 40 odd knockouts in a row. I thought to myself, it must be a gimmick. Got to be. I wasn't bothered about the power anyway. I thought Klitschko had 60 odd knockouts and it didn't even affect me. So I gets in there and thinking, okay, jab, 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 thinking this is easy, this can't be right, it must be in a dream. All of a sudden I went to block a jab and I felt his knuckle go right through my hand. It nearly broke my hand and I went, shit, then I get hit by that. If that's the jab, what's the right hand gonna be like? And he really does have the power where you don't feel it. You can get punched in the face and you see a blue flash, it hurts you. But then you've got real dynamite punches like Wilder, is like it just switches you off like a light switch. I got dropped in round 9 with him in the first fight, and he just like touched me at the back of the head. It was sort of there, like a left up there. And I just opened my eyes and I was on the floor and I thought, shit, right, get up. You're obviously down, because you don't know, because your brain's been rattled. You don't realise what's happened. And then you get up and then in round 12, he hit me with a right hand and that was it. I opened my eyes and I saw a referee going 4. Yeah, when you get hit by a proper puncher, you don't know what's happened because you don't see it coming. It's like someone going from behind you and hitting you in the face and you don't know what's happened. You couldn't say it was him or him because you didn't see it. And that's what happens when you get clipped proper off a dynamite, and that's what Wilder's got. But I don't know if it was the effect of me losing 10 stone and then fighting him in 6 months period, which would affect anybody, because in the second fight, I took his best punches clean, like big rights on the jaw in round 2, and it never even affected me. I walked right through him. But maybe because I'd had another 18 months on top of the first fight. So yeah, I don't know if he really is that big a puncher, but we'll find out anyway in October. I almost know what not to do now, if that makes sense. I know not to have so long without doing anything and giving myself any mental stimulation where I don't train or do anything. Where before, it was like I'd conquered the world and it was nothing else I wanted to do, that was it. My dream from being a little kid was to beat Klitschko. When I was only young, Klitschko was a world champion, so I was always looking at him. And then when I'd completed it, it was game over for me. I didn't want to continue. Plus, I was mentally unstable. Like going into that fight, I was very depressed and down and anxious. And I always had that goal of beating Klitschko that kept me on the straight and narrow path. But after that goal was taken away from me, I had nothing else that I could focus on to give me that drive. And it was just like total downward spiral, and I just didn't want to live anymore. I was happy to die at 27. I was happy to finish, that was it. Nothing or nobody could bring me back. Not my wife and kids, didn't care about nothing. Every day I woke up, I just wanted to die. It's a crazy way to be, but only people who understand, like, who've been through depression and all that sort of stuff, will understand what I'm saying. And when you're so down and every day you wake up, even if it's sunshine and it's grey and you're negative all the time, and you're infectious, you infect people who are around you, make them negative and down, and you push everybody away and you just want to be left alone, like in a dark corner and left alone. But my problem is I was eating as well, comfort eating. So I was just getting heavier and heavier and more down and depressed and down. And I never thought that I'd ever return to boxing or anything like that. The furthest I thought I'd ever go if I didn't die was padded room. When I got up after about half an hour, what felt like it was an eternity, but it was only a few minutes, I felt like I'd had the weight of the world lifted off my shoulders. And I said to Paris, right, tomorrow, I'm going to start the regain mission. I'm going to become heavyweight champion of the world again. She didn't believe me because I'd done this every time I got drunk. I'm going to start training on Monday. That's it, I've had enough now. But it never lasted. Got to Wednesday and I was back in the pub. Next morning I got up, got my sweatsuit on, and I thought I was going to jog like a mile at 28 stone. And I got out on the road and my back was killing me, so I started walking. And I was flicking down on Instagram and I saw Deontay Wilder, and he'd done a video saying, I saw Tyson Fury at a boxing event recently. He's shadow of his former glory, he's fat as anything, he'll never come back. I'll give up the hope now of ever fighting him. And I thought, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you that I am the best in this division. And at the time, there was a lot of back and forth with him and Anthony Joshua going to fight each other, and he wasn't. One wanted X amount, this, that, and the other, and it wasn't happening. They had like 16 months of back and forward, and they couldn't agree a deal. So I phoned up my lawyer. I said, look, I started training again. I said, I'm 28 stone, and I'm going to come back. Nobody believed me, and then I started training every day, and I got the weight down gradually. I phoned up Frank Warren. I said, look, Frank, I think I'm going to make a return. He said, are you serious? I said, yeah. He said, right, I'll get you on in June. And it was like December now. So I had 6 months to try and lose 10 stone. And I went into camp and I started training again and getting a bit of sparring in and all that sort of stuff. And then I got down to like 19 stone 10, and I had my first fight in Manchester. And we sold it out and had my first fight back after just under 3 years. And it was named He's Back, Return of the Mac. And then I had another fight a few months later in Belfast. At that time, Wilder was at ringside, screaming and shouting, and then we ended up getting it on. And it was exactly from, I had my first fight back June the 15th, and I fought Deontay Wilder that same year on December the 1st. So it wasn't even 6 months, was it? I've been back after 3 years out the ring, and he still couldn't beat me then. And once I set my mind to something, then I always achieve it. No matter what, nothing can ever sidetrack me or put me off path for achieving what I set my mind to. Like every goal I've ever done from being a little kid, I've always achieved. Never once did I never hit the mark that I set. But it's always been an astronomical goal. And I also spoke to Robbie Williams about this, and it happened to him as well. And he come up with a thing, it's called Paradise Syndrome. You put your full life into something, and when you reach that unreachable goal, it's like, is this it now?
Yeah.
And then that's it then. And he had the same, he had like years and years of abusing himself and whatever else.
What one day in your career would you relive?
None of them, because I live for today. And whatever's happened in the past, I leave there. I don't even go back and watch fights that I've had, ever. I don't relive the past at all because it's gone, I know I can't get it back. And I'm almost obsessed with time. I've got a real obsession with the way it evaporates and the way that 1 minute we're here and in a minute it'll be like, when I done that interview with Tyson, it was like 3 years ago, and it'll go like that, bang. And I've really got an obsession with time, so I live for now. Tomorrow, not promised to nobody. Yesterday can never get back. So today, I enjoy today and I live for today.